Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Around the Slice YouTube channel. I just wanted to jump on here today to do a quick video to provide you guys with my 2024 NFL playoffs updated divisional round power rankings. What that means is we're going to go from 8 to 1 and power rank the 8 remaining teams in the divisional round. Now, let me preface this with this. When I say a team is 8, they are not bad by any means. They're just 8 out of the 8 we're discussing today. All of these teams are very, very impressive that they're even here. Okay, some are expected to be here, some are not expected to be here. Some teams that aren't here were expected to be here. All that, but these are the best 8. Well, maybe not the best 8, but this is very hard to do. Get to the divisional round. So when I say a team is 8, they're still very good. They're just we have to put them 8 because we're ranking 8 teams. But these are 8 teams out of the whole league. So 8 out of 32 that made it to the divisional round. So congratulations to all of them. But without further ado, let's just jump into it. If you're a fan of one of these teams, again, there's 8 of them. So I don't know like what chances are of that, but let's just hop into it. So at 8, unfortunately, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I'm going to be honest. I didn't expect anything from the Buccaneers. I honestly, this is a very cold take. This aged not well gracefully at all. I expected the Panthers to even finish above the Buccaneers in the NFC South. I thought the Buccaneers would get 3 to 5 wins at most, and I thought they would be in the conversation for like Caleb Williams, Drake May, and maybe even Michael Penix Jr., Jaden Daniels, someone like that. I mean, I honestly didn't predict this. I wasn't a fan of Baker. Other than his first year in Cleveland, I've never been a fan. I thought people got overhyped because of his rookie year in Cleveland, and look where he is now. He got booted from Cleveland because of Deshaun Watson. His personality is kind of abrasive, if you will. He went on the whole media tour thing saying I was treated poorly, basically alluding to that, this and that, blah blah blah. And then he goes to Carolina and just he's flipping the starting job with gig with Sam Darnold and flip flop there. And then he goes to Rams for basically a cup of coffee. Very impressive win for what being there 2 days, 48 hours, and then comes at the Bucks and they have a quote unquote breakout year. But don't get it twisted. He's still a bust. He's a number 1 overall pick, and it's his 4th team in 6 years in the league. 4th team in 6 years. So, I mean, that is a bust. But this is his best. Well, I don't know if you call it his best year because his rookie year in Cleveland was pretty damn good. But this year is probably his best year of his career in terms of success. He went to the playoffs. He led the Bucks to a playoff game. I did not think that he would be here, and the Buccaneers defense has really leveled up over the last few weeks. We've gotten hot down the stretch of the season. They were terrible for like the first 13 weeks. Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis at corners were getting cooked. I mean, Antoine Phil Jr., though, had a hell of a year. He didn't make Pro Bowl, but he made All Pro. Screw the Pro Bowl. Who cares? But unfortunately, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 8. It's just where they have to be. But again, all of these teams are very well deserving to be here. You just got to rank them for 8 to 1, though. 7, I have the Green Bay Packers. I didn't think the Packers would make the playoffs. Because of the nature of the NFC North, I could see it coming into the year. The Bears are always the Bears, except they ripped off a few wins down the stretch. The Vikings were scorching hot when they had Kirk Cousins, then got injured. Then they had that Josh Dobbs thing, little 2-game bump there. And then Nick Mullins, Jaron Hall, all that. But relating back to the Packers, they're just such a young team. Their weapon that has the most experience is Christian Watson, 2nd year, Romeo Dobbs, 2nd year. And Christian Watson doesn't like have a functional hamstring like ever. I mean, and when he is in there, he gets out of the game early because of a hamstring. I mean, think of these weapons. Christian Watson, 2nd year. Romeo Dobbs, 2nd year. Jaden Reed, rookie. Dontavian Wicks, rookie. Jaden Reed, rookie. Bo Melton, 3rd year. So, but doesn't do much. Tucker Kraft, Luke Musgrave, tight end. Second rookies again. But AJ Dillon doesn't do much. He's afraid this offseason. They should just let him walk. But Aaron Jones is such an underrated running back. The hometown discounts, if you will, and running backs always complaining, but they want more money, which they rightfully should want more money. But he's he's always gonna be a Packer for life, and I couldn't see him in any other team. Um, yeah, he just hometown discount for Aaron Jones, and I think that's their path to keep winning and winning, pounding Aaron Jones. But Jordan Love, my God, it's not he's not a regular first year starter. This is 4th year in the league. Remember, they traded up for him in that 2020 NFL draft, which that motivated Aaron Rodgers because he won his second MVP in a row that year, right after they did draft Love. But this is what they were waiting for. This was the moment they were waiting for Jordan Love. He's under contract for next season, but then that's it. It's not technically a 5th-year option because they gave him like a 1-year deal. It was kind of weird. It's basically the same as a 5th-year option though, but they're definitely going to extend him this offseason, 2 or 3 more years, if not more, for sure. My next 2 teams, I'm just gonna bring them up together because this might be controversial to some, it might not be. I don't think it's controversial, but at 6, I have the Kansas City Chiefs, and at 5 on these power rankings, I have the Houston Texans. If you want to put Chiefs at 5 and Texans at 6, that's totally fine. But for me, I have the Chiefs at 6 and the Texans at 5. Again, if you want to flip them, totally fine. The Texans, though, why I have them at 5, one spot above the Chiefs, they just have that swagger to me. CJ Stroud, S2 test be damned. You don't have to score high on an S2 test to be a good NFL player. Bryce Young was damn near perfect score, and look how he did. CJ Stroud, very terrible, terrible score. Let's not sugarcoat it. And look what he's doing. You don't have to be the smartest player in the world. It's basically a new version of the Wonderlic from that was at next a few years ago. You don't have to be the smartest player in the world. And for all those people that say, well, defensive minded coaches can't do it, you need offensive minded coaches in this league today, or you're not going anywhere. You're screwed. Look at D'Amico Ryans, elite defensive coordinator for the 49ers, and look at what he did. He hired a great offensive coordinator, Bobby Slowick, and he's probably going to be the Titans' next head coach. That's where I would want if I were Tennessee, a young mind like that. And he's an analytics guy. Fun fact, before he got in the NFL, he was on PFF, Pro Football Focus with all the grades and whatnot. He is an analytics guy. He just gets it. So, and that CJ Stroud and Nico Collins connection is really, really something special. Just imagine if they had Tank Dell as well. He was well on his way to 1,000 yards. Now, through 12 games or whatever it was, he got 700 yards and like 3 or 4 touchdowns. But just imagine if they still had him. But Nico Collins has really elevated himself this year, and that's because of CJ Stroud. Devin Singletary has taken a starting job from Damon Pierce. He's not been great, but he just is so consistent. That Houston Texans defense is so underrated in my opinion. Their secondary is young and underrated with Jalen Petrie actually at safety, Derek Stingley Jr. at corner, second at LSU, really, really effective player. And then Will Anderson on the edge, and Jerry Hughes as an edge presence, although he's a free agent this offseason, so who cares? If they get a couple interior guys, that defensive line can be not scary, but close to it, if you get what I mean, if you know what I mean. And then secondary, opposite Derek Stingley, Jimmy Ward has been injured for a lot, but he's a D'Amico Ryans guy. So that's why I have them at 5. And the Chiefs at 6. Again, you can flip these. I really don't care. I'm not like so bullish on it. I'm not gonna like burn you for it. Like, well, what the hell is that? No, you can flip these if you want, but the reason I have the Chiefs, because the Chiefs passing defense is really, really like damn near elite, top 5 and all that, led by all-pro cornerback L'Jarius Sneed and Justin Reed at safety. But their other corner is the issue where you have Jalen Watson and Joshua Williams. I mean, 2 second-year players that were UDFA's undrafted free agents last year. I can't remember what schools they went to respectively, but there you go. And then their defensive line is very inconsistent at times. I love George Karlaftis. I love the trajectory he's on. He's speed, athletic. He's not the tallest guy in the world. He's not like a Greg Rousseau type of athlete, he's an athlete, but Greg Rousseau type of length. But he's really speedy, athletic. And then Chris Jones is still in the middle. But other than that, what do they have? Derek Nottie, Felix Anudike-Uzomah, who's a healthy scratch, the first-round pick. And on offense, the reason why I have the Texans but the Chiefs is, it sounds crazy, but I like the Texans' weapons more than the Chiefs' weapons. Obviously, you have Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce, but I don't like, no. It's the playoffs now. You're going against the Bills in the divisional round. You got to have someone else step up other than Rice and Kelce. I mean, I love Rashee Rice. I love Travis Kelce there, but who else? MVS, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, Justin Watson is starting. Kadarius Toney is a healthy scratch and always making mistakes left and right. And Jawan Taylor and Don Smith, those tackles are very inconsistent. And I feel like every 2 seconds, Jawan Taylor's either drawing a penalty or should draw a penalty from refs or referees. So that's why I have Texans at 5 and Chiefs at 6. At number 4 in my power rankings, again from 8 to 1. At number 4, I have the Detroit Lions. I mean, it was awesome, that atmosphere. First ever home playoff game at Ford Field since it's been around since like the 60s or 70s. Don't ask me. But first playoff win in 33 years. I mean, the Lions and Bills, I'm a Bills fan, so of course I'm going to relate to this. The Lions and Bills are very similar fan bases that went through misery forever. And I finally are in the twilight days, if you will, whatever that saying is. Finally, these are the days where they finally have something positive to look forward to every year. I love their offense is young, but I love it. Jamison Williams is finally getting it together. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sun God, is now an elite receiver, as a former fourth round pick, third year out of USC. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, the two-headed monster, if you will, in the backfield. Sam Laporta at tight end. And Jared Goff is underrated and overhated. He doesn't turn the ball over much. He rarely ever makes mistakes because of that. Yes, he's not very mobile, but he's a damn good pocket passer. Doesn't have the strongest arm. Very athletic, like I just said, in the mobility department. But yeah, the defense is, let's be honest, very poor. But I like the pieces they have. Jack Campbell, if he might be forced to play now because of Alex Anzalone, with the defensive injury there at linebacker, and then Derek Barnes is the other starting linebacker. But Brian Branch at safety, so the slot corner is a chess piece, if you will, moving him around. But their defensive line, I really like Julian Okwara and Romeo Okwara. And that defensive tackle, Aleem McNeil, is underrated. Broderick Martin's whatever. Healthy scratch. But I feel like if they get another run-stopping defensive tackle like Jerzon Newton or Leonard Taylor III, Devendra Sweat, Byron Murphy, one of those high-end defensive tackles in this year's draft, they'll be rolling. I like Cam Sutton at corner, but I feel like their secondary does need another corner. They have a collection of guys, but Kendall Vildor, Cam Sutton, I already mentioned, Jerry Jacobs, Kirby Joseph at that other safety spot. So I really like the trajectory of this team. They're just a gritty team, and Dan Campbell embodies that as a former Lions player. At 3, I'm going to say the top 3 all in one chunk here, if you will, because I had it. I didn't share them on this YouTube channel, but I had it last week going into the wild card first round of the playoffs. I have Buffalo Bills at 3, Baltimore Ravens at 2, and San Francisco 49ers at 1. So the 49ers and Ravens didn't play. I don't move them. So 49ers 1, Ravens 2, Bills 3. But if the Ravens lose to Packers, that'll be catastrophic. Or if the Ravens lose to the Texans, that will be catastrophic for them. But that's going to be a really good game, guys. But I have the Bills at 3. They've won 6 in a row now, 5 to end off the regular season, plus 1 in the wild card round, blowing up the Steelers, 31-17. You know all that. Maybe don't, but I mean, unless you live under a rock, you know. But the 49ers are just like, they had their little 3-game losing streak slump in the middle of the season, but Brock Purdy, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, they have superstars all over the place. Christian McCaffrey, I didn't even mention him. And on defense, Arik Armstead, Chase Young, Charvarius Ward, they use another corner or two. And then safety, Talanoa Fanga, if he didn't tear his ACL pretty early on in the season. What was it, like 4 or 5? I really like him as a nice young player, second year. Yeah, I just really like how the 49ers team is created and the put together, I should say. John Lynch is a great GM. Kyle Shanahan is an offensive mastermind and great offensive guy. Head coach, I should say, rather. And then the Ravens are at second. Lamar is great, but will the moment be too big for Zay Flowers? Odell is great in the playoffs usually. He was on his way to having a dominant Super Bowl against the Bengals before he tore his ACL, and then 2 years ago in the Super Bowl. And then obviously you have guys like Odell, but is the moment too big for Zay Flowers? Other than that, I feel like they're getting Mark Andrews back. Well, I know they are because he was a full participant yesterday, being Wednesday, January 17th. And Isaiah Likely, underrated backup tight end. One of, if not the best backup tight end in the whole league. And he was really great when he started for Mark Andrews. So look for a lot of 2 tight end sets to return. The defense, though, obviously, 2 All-Pro linebackers are Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. And then obviously Marlon Humphrey is still a very good corner. Maybe not shut down anymore, but still very good. Kyle Hamilton at safety slash corner. He's kind of like a Brian Branch. They don't have similar play styles, but in the sense of you can move them around wherever. Odafe Owe has been kind of disappointing as a utility pass rusher there. Jadeveon Clowney's had a career year there. So I really like how this Ravens team is composed, but they don't have as much superstars as the 49ers. So, yeah. And then 3 Bills, like I said, they sustained so many defensive injuries. Balin Spector, Terrell Bernard, Taron Johnson, Russell Douglas, Gabe Davis, Christian Benford, Taylor Rapp. I already mentioned Gabe Davis. So, I mean, it just keeps going and going and piling up. But AJ Klein and Dorian Williams really stepped up. Cam Lewis really stepped up. Dane Jackson has always stepped up. Kyrie Elam, redemption interception, stepped up. So, yeah, I really like. So, my top 3 are as follows: 49ers 1, Ravens 2, Bills 3. I just not changing the top 2 from in my head before going into last week because there's no reason to. 49ers didn't play. So 49ers, Ravens, Bills, top 3. I'm not going to recap the whole 1 through 8. You'll have to go back in the video for that. But anyways, guys, I'll be back for this same thing next week, power ranking the 4 teams for the AFC and NFC championships respectively for conference championship weekend next Sunday. So that will be awesome. And then tomorrow being Friday, January 19th, at the time of this recording, I will have my divisional round predictions and game thoughts. There's a lot of great games. I think they'll be much closer than last weekend. Let's be honest. The only close game is Lions-Rams. All of them are 10 plus, 14 plus point blowouts, way more in most cases. So anyways, guys, thank you for listening to thank you for coming back to the Around the Slice YouTube channel for this video. I'm going to be pumping out more videos here on the channel, some short form videos, so you have other stuff to look forward to other than the main podcast. So yeah, anyways, yeah, I'll be back later today for my Bills Chiefs full podcast preview. This will probably be up. Those probably will coincide with each other. Those will probably coincide with each other and come out not the same exact time, but both today. So yeah, enjoy the games this weekend. Whatever team you're rooting for, these top 8 teams, they can make it to the conference championship game. And yeah, see you later. Bye.